Andy, welcome back to our second podcast of the day. We just did the teaser report. They can pick that up at Proline TV. And make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, give us a thumbs up, and make sure you hit that bell so you get notices. Andy, what are we talking about in this segment?
Well, I think another subject, I guess we could go to the alternate lines. That has become a very popular. You've sort of alluded to it many times over the past few weeks in our discussions about football. Normally, it comes up with something that can be played. Used to be exclusively in the Super Bowl. Then it became the championship games and the Super Bowl. And now many books, both here in Nevada, outside the state of Nevada, and even offshore, offer it now on almost every game to be played because it has become possible. And it basically allows extremely confident players to take the worst of the number, but at a positive VIG adjustment, or those who are a little bit timid to maybe take a little weaker number also at a negative adjustment and perhaps lay a little bit higher, but your confidence level may not be as great.
Well, let me give you an example how this would work. Let's say you're betting a win total for this whole season. I'll give you a few examples. Let's say you look at the New York Giants. And I think they're over and under for the years, probably 5.5, somewhere in that range. But you think they're going to be a lot better than that. And you think they're actually going to win 9 games. So you're going to go in there and you're going to say, I'm going to bet over 6.5, 7.5, 8.5, and may put a little sprinkle of money on each of those positions because each one of those numbers, which are alternate lines, because the real line is 5.5. So
you're talking now season wins, or are you talking individual games?
That's a season win issue. Yeah, we'll deal about a game in a minute. Individual games, but so each one of those positions. If let's say you're a $300 player, well, you're going to take 4 or 5 positions. You're going to bet $50 in each one of them. If they win 9 games, you're going to win all those bets, and each one of them is going to be at plus money. So maybe plus 2 to 1, maybe 3 to 1, maybe 4 to 1, maybe even 6 to 1, because you're going to be thinking of a team that the odds makers said 5.5 is their win total, and you're going over 8.5. You go that high, you're going to be getting some pretty big numbers. That would be an alternate win. You could do it on the other side by betting.
And by the way, I believe such a team this year might be the New York Giants.
That's exactly right.
I think that they're. I'll just mention if you've seen the Circa, for those people in Vegas probably know Circa has done that for a number of years. And if you go in there, they have 3 separate line totals. The one is the low, the third is the high, and the one in the middle is the one that you'll see in most places around town.
And that's excellent. Now let's look at one line for this week. Last night, we're probably looking at the Philadelphia was 8. Well, let's say you thought that Philadelphia was going to blow them out and you think they're going to win by 12 or 13 or 14. You'd go in there and you'd lay the 12, 13, 14 for small money. You don't have to bet big money. You minus the 8. That might be your best play. And then you say, well, they're going to win by more than that. I like them to win by 10 or more. So then you're going to put a little bit of money on those other positions. And now you're not laying juice anymore when you do that. You're actually getting plus money. I don't know what it would have paid, Andy, but if I went in and say $50 at minus 13, what kind of price would I have gotten?
I think you might have gotten plus 2.5 or 3 to 1.
Okay, that's the point. So you take an alternate position and you say, I'm going to get more than I'm going to lay 110 or 120 or 130. Now I'm getting 3 to 1 positive. You could go the other way too. You can go on the underdog, or you could say they're going by less. This is how you play alternate lines, and you get positive expectation over and above. Not every point spread or every win total for the season is going to go miss the number by 1 or 1 point. So that you can go outside the box and look for bigger odds payoffs without having to play a parlay. Because all you're doing is you're betting an alternate line.
Here's a perfect. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going to say a perfect example
ahead.
is okay. You can also do it on team totals. That has become an increasingly popular option offered as well. Let's say, for example, the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's say the line in their game. Where are they right now? They're about a 6-point favorite over Cleveland. I don't know what the total is right now.
47, 48. Yeah.
So I'll use 48 as an example because I think that works out nicely. Okay. You take they're 6-point favorites. So say take 6 points off the 48. So you're now down at 42. You split that in half, 21-21, and then you add the 6 points back. So basically that line in total are saying Cincinnati 27, Cleveland 21. Okay, there's Cincinnati by 6, total of 48. You can, if you think, let's say, that Cleveland is going to stifle, this would have worked out beautifully last year, by the way, if you had done it on opening day and you liked the Patriots to keep it a low-scoring game, which they did. But if you think Cincinnati is going to score more than 28, you'll have to lay a little bit of vig because they're a high-scoring team. And if you think they're going to score less than 28, you probably get a nice little plus price. So let's say you think, you know what, I think the Browns are good enough defensively. It's first game of the season on the road, a place where the Bengals have had a lot of trouble in the past, and not at the time of the year when they've had a lot of trouble in the past. Maybe I think Cleveland can hold them to between, say, 21 and 24 points. So let's say I'm going to play the Bengals under 27.5 because I'll usually use half points. You might guess something like maybe like plus 180 or plus 210 or something, that they're going to stay under the expected total of, in this case, 27.5. And you could do that with any number of teams. So if you've got, for example, a team that, the line seems a little bit low. Let's say, for example, and I haven't played it yet, but I want to see where this line goes. I kind of think I like the Giants this year because I think their offense is going to be much improved. I think that the game with them against the Commanders, especially with the additions that some of the Commanders made, I think that could be a high-scoring game. So I don't have the numbers in front of me right now what the line is, but I might like to play either side perhaps, or maybe even both sides to go over the total. Now, by the way, that was a real bad beat if you had the over in that Eagles-Cowboys game Thursday night. 21-20 at halftime, 24-20 when the Lightning came, 24-20 when the game ended. That was 47.
Any over better there has to be crying in their beer.
And that's only game one of the season.
Yeah, maybe that's the bad beat for the season. There won't be any more bad beats.
If only that were the case. Heck, there might be one tonight. You never know.
Oh, this is an interesting game tonight, actually. Probably no good to really talk about it because this probably won't air fast enough for them to see it. But they're playing in Sao Paulo. The field conditions are questionable. You got the loser of the Super Bowl, which is typically a good team to bet against. But you also have the other side that has lost a very key offensive lineman in Slater for the entire season. And that is a big loss. When you lose your offensive lineman, especially offensive tackle, left offensive tackle for a right-handed quarterback, that's the backside protection. That's really tough. So this is a tough game to figure out, especially if Andy Reid and Mahomes and company are really pissed about how they played in the Super Bowl, which was pretty awful, actually.
Yeah.
And they are good enough, if focused, to destroy a lot of teams. The question is, can they overcome the Super Bowl loser hangover that's been typical over the years? But, go ahead.
I was just saying that there were 3.5s out there. I'm looking across the board right now. It's 3. So this is maybe another good example of perhaps playing an alternate line. And by that, I mean, there are 2 key intangibles, and you just touched upon both of them. Number one, it's the mindset of Kansas City. And they may be out there to say, the last time you saw us, we were embarrassed by the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl. And that final score of, I think, 40-22 does not even come close to show how much we, the Chiefs, were dominated. Maybe you can find an alternate line where you can lay, say, 7.5 or 10.5 with the Chiefs, and they come out and blow out the Chargers. At the same time, and by the way, and another reason to perhaps support that, in addition to the mentality of the Kansas City Chiefs, you just mentioned the key injury for Slater that the Chargers have to endure. And this is game number 1 at full speed for the replacement. they may not be totally ready for the game speed, which now probably doubles as far as the intensity goes compared to preseason. That the Chargers may have some difficulty running their offense tonight, and they may be, it may be the injury to a guy like Slater, that position generally will improve over the course of the season if he's a capable athlete. And to make the NFL, you have to be a capable athlete. And I think it was Alt who played the position at Notre Dame, so he's not totally unfamiliar. But the week one, it may be a little difficult. So that could justify perhaps laying an alternate number with the Chiefs. At the same time, there are people who will have the opinion, you know what? Kansas City showed last year how vulnerable they were. In fact, they were fortunate. What was it, the opening game of the season against Baltimore, where the toe was just over the line on what could have been the winning touchdown for the Ravens? I think that was the game, if I recall correctly. That, the team is now a year older. They've played, I think it was 3 or 4 more playoff games last year. In fact, if you go back to 2019, the last 6 seasons, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, they've played, I think, 21 extra games just in playoffs. That's like the equivalent of a full season and a quarter. So while many teams were playing 6 seasons and a couple of games, the Chiefs were playing 7 seasons and a few games. So that also could take the toll, even though it's been the off season. And you might say, you know what, the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, he showed great improvement last year in his last time was San Francisco in his second season. I think the Chargers are going to win the game, and I'm willing to lay, let's say, 2.5, and you'll get a nice plus price there. So there are reasons that you can make for either side in this game where you really have an opportunity, because the talent, the line is basically 3, which is basically saying, well, it's on a neutral field. So you're saying it'd be Kansas City by 6 at home, 5 or 6 at home, and it'd be the Chiefs maybe by 1 at Kansas City. So that's a reasonably competitively priced game. But the extenuating circumstances, the effort in the Super Bowl, and the absence of the change in the position of Slater at his absence with the Chargers. If you happen to have a strong opinion either way as to which is more significant, the Chargers being still a good team, or the Chiefs showing the signs of age and that toll, this would be the kind of game that you could look to get some edges if you had a solid opinion either way.
Absolutely, and great example. Excellent. I hope this is.
By the way, one more. Buffalo-Baltimore, I think, is another game, especially if the game is at Pick'em. If you think Baltimore is just so much better that they're going to win this game by a touchdown or less. Now, remember, they blew them out last year, I think, early in the season, but that's different. And, of course, Buffalo won. Or if you think Buffalo is going to go back and show, hey, we're the better team at the end of the year, as we showed in the key game, we think you think that they can win. You can take either side and lay 3.5, 4.5, 7.5, if you think it's not going to be the competitive game that the line suggested will.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct. Andy, this is a great segment, educational for the viewers. We're going to do another podcast in a few minutes about the contests in Las Vegas, but right now we're going to sign off for this. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, watching, listening, and make sure you like the channel, Proline TV. Just hit the up button, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up. It helps the channel, and
hit the bell to get notifications when a video has been posted.
Absolutely.